Dodgers in Atlanta. Then Minnesota plays at California. At 7, Sports Desk. At 7:30, semifinal action from the WTA Championship in Florida. At 10:30, the World of Horse Racing. At 11, Sports Desk. That's all on TSN, where the WTA Tennis Championships begin Sunday live at 4 o'clock Eastern Time.
Up on SpeedWeek, in Formula One, it's too close for comfort.
3's a crowd in Winston Cup.
Michael is what's happening in cars.
This and more coming up on SpeedWeek.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to SpeedWeek. I'm Bob Jenkins.
And I'm Larry Newber. Long Beach, California, Darlington, South Carolina, Jerez, Spain were the highlighted cities on the auto racing circuit this past weekend. Reports from those locations and others, all in the next 30 minutes.
First, to Europe. The area of the Mediterranean made news last Monday night, and developments of a completely different nature occurred in that same area on Sunday, as ESPN televised the Spanish Grand Prix. Larry filed this report from Jerez.
This week's Formula One stop in Jerez, Spain. It's the southern part of the country, not too far from the Rock of Gibraltar at the entrance to the Mediterranean. And we're in the heart of the world's sherry-growing country. Questions for this venue. It's a brand new racetrack. Some of the drivers say it will be most difficult to pass on. And can anyone stop the Brazil and the Williams juggernauts? What few Spanish fans that did show up discovered the answer. No one. Brazil's Ayrton Senna, fast time again, but there was no repeat of his Brazil lap 1 incident with Williams' Nigel Mansell. He led casually, followed closely like tin soldiers by teams Williams, McLaren, Ligier, and Ferrari. Everyone conscious of going the distance with no stops. Several potentials disarmed early, then Keke Rosberg and Nigel were the first to break formation. The Williams cars going after their 5th win in a row over 2 seasons. A pre-race Cold War with Senna added to the intrigue of this pass. Soon only Mansell and he, plus Alain Prost, were in it for the win. Then Nigel's rear tire began to go down. After this display of assertion, he could hold on no longer. A late pit stop seemingly put him out of contention, but he scorched back. In one of the most dramatic finishes in history, they raced respectfully and cleanly to the line, with Senna winning by a John Cock over mare's margin. After the flag, this inter-cockpit visual exchange of mutual respect. The rest of the points finishers, Rosberg, Fabi, and Berger again.
Francis Pasquale Fabre, driving a Lola, won the first round of the Formula 3000 Series Sunday at Silverstone in England.
In NASCAR land, Harry Ranier is said to be interested in selling his team. National Speed Sport News reports that Darrell Waltrip and Waddell Wilson may join forces next year on a team owned by Rick Hendrick, and Bill Elliott again is tested over 209 at Talladega.
Another new winner in 1986 emerged from the Trans-South 500 that we televised live for you last Sunday afternoon. Mark Allen reports from Darlington, South Carolina.
A NASCAR record run of 11 different winners in the last 11 races was on the line at the treacherous Darlington Raceway. The casualties began right from the green. Pole-sitter Jeff Bodine's engine seized before getting up to speed, and Davey Allison didn't complete a lap before battering his car. Once number 3 Dale Earnhardt charged to the lead on lap 5, the race was essentially over. He was that good. Meanwhile, Darlington continued to live up to its too-tough-to-tame reputation. 33 Harry Gant was running a strong second till this crash claimed him and third-place Ricky Rudd. Amazingly, Gant returned to the race. The carnage continued all around the track. Phil Parsons tried to knock down the front straight pit wall. Another of the 11 cautions came out for Tommy Ellis, who found turn 4 most unfriendly. Virtually no one was immune to trouble, including 43 Richard Petty and defending champ Bill Elliott, who got together in turn 2. As usual, less than half the field was around at the end. If it hadn't been for the cautions, Earnhardt might have lapped the entire field. He led all but 32 laps. A late race caution was the only reason second-place finisher number 11 Darrell Waltrip kept the ending even a little interesting. Earnhardt's overwhelming triumph kept another streak alive. So far in 6 races this season, there has yet to be a repeat winner on the Winston Cup circuit. This is Mark Allen reporting.
Going into Sunday's race at North Wilkesboro, Darrell has a 48-point lead on Dale. Third is Rusty Wallace, followed by Labonte and Elliott. 6 through 10, Kyle Petty, Tim Richmond, then Gant, Richard Petty, and Bobby Allison.
Last Saturday at the same track, Jack Garoot has a report on Morgan Shepherd's attempt to win his 3rd Grand National race in a row.
The Dixie Cup 200 was an appropriate lid lifter at the place they call the Track Too Tough to Tame when they opened up their 1986 racing campaign. The race started with pole sitter Tim Richmond taking the early lead, but his charge was brought to a halt as the yellow flag appeared when 3rd place starter Kenny Burks lost control and hit the wall, sliding down the main stretch. Tim's command of the lead continued on the restart until number 45, Charlie Luck, struck the wall and caught on fire as he caromed off the pit wall and then into turn 1 before stopping. Charlie climbed out uninjured. Richmond continued to lead with Dale Earnhardt nipping at his heels. Morgan Shepherd's day ended when his V6 motor exploded going into turn 3. Number 32, Dale Jerez, slid across the apron to avoid contact. Richmond's day came to an end early as oil pressure dropped below 50 pounds and the crew pulled him behind the wall for good. Dale Earnhardt was the fastest man in traffic, but Darrell Waltrip, running second, would challenge the Flying Dale, but couldn't pass him. Ed Barrier lost control, bringing out another yellow, which allowed for pit stops, and after the restart, a 4-car battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th raged on. But the leader was still Earnhardt, followed by Waltrip, until number 10, Kenny Bouchard, spun into the pit wall, bringing out the yellow, and a pit stop for Darrell. Darrell resumed the race in 6th. Brett Bodine took the lead from Earnhardt for a while. Mike Bonicelli hit the 2nd turn wall, bringing out the final yellow of the day. Waltrip stayed out as Earnhardt pitted for left side tires and dropped back to 5th position. On the restart, Dale drove like the tough customer he is to regain the 2nd position. Waltrip held on to the lead, though, as Earnhardt ran out of time as the checkered flag fell upon Waltrip. Earnhardt finished 2nd, 3rd to Brett Bodine, 4th to Rick Wilson, and 5th to Davey Allison.
Coming up, My Three Sons is a premiere, not a rerun.
And Cheever's premiere is a big hit, too.
It's getting dark. You and Timmy better be heading home.
Dad, what are you worried about?
You don't want to be out at night with your old car.
Oh, the car may be old, but it's got Michelin's.
Michelin radials? Isn't that a lot of money for a tire?
Dad, the way I see it, at 10 p.m. on a lonely road, it's a lot of tire for the money.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Inside NASCAR is an exciting and entertaining mix of highlights, features, and behind-the-scenes stories. Join hosts Ned Jarrett, Steve Burns on Inside NASCAR.
Is the new generation taking over in IndyCar racing? Well, from the results of last weekend's Toyota Grand Prix, one would certainly think so.
Just like on the postcards, Long Beach, California, home of the Queen Mary and host for round 2 of the CART PPG IndyCar World Series. Lap 1, Al Unser Jr., who started on the outside of the front row, led pole sitter Danny Sullivan, Emerson Fittipaldi, Mario Andretti, and the rest of the field through turn 1. These 3 were the top 3 finishers last year. Sullivan was an early force, passing Al and leading nearly the first third of the race, but a bent front wing and ignition problems dropped him from contention. Emerson Fittipaldi was running second when he blew a turbocharger and called it quits on lap 39. Another big name, Bobby Rahal, had another weekend to forget. At Phoenix, he finished 16th. At Long Beach, mechanical problems caused him to finish a disappointing 18th. Following the second and last round of pit stops, Michael Andretti, who won the Super B race here in '83, took the lead, but not without a challenge as Al Unser Jr. sat on his tail waiting for a mistake. But Michael was perfect and won the race by 38/100ths of a second.
I never thought it was going to happen. You know, we were close so many times, and I just thought anything could still happen. And when I saw that checker flag, I couldn't believe it.
Following Michael and Al was Jeff Brabham in third, Tom Sneva, who actually led for a while, in fourth, and Mario Andretti without brakes and clutch for half the race in fifth.
The last entry for this year's Indy 500 was from Rick Miskiewicz. The entry total is 67, including 7 former winners. Gordon Johncock is not entered. A.J. Foyt is entered, but his horse, Rare Brick, will miss the Kentucky Derby because of a chipped bone in its ankle.
Steve Bren was angry about his treatment by officials at the inaugural American Racing Series event last week. Apparently, he took that inner drive to Long Beach. Derek Daly reports.
The opening round of the 1986 Bosch Super V Championship got underway here today at Long Beach with a healthy 39-car field. The front row consisted of pole-sitter Steve Bren with ex-Formula 3 star Ross Cheever beside him in the now 3-year-old Provimi Roth. While second row starter Jeff Andretti jumped into the lead, Cheever's race ended in the barriers at turn 1. Cheever jumped out uninjured, but the pace car was brought out to clear another wreck at turn 2, involving Dan Thayer and Jeff McGaughey. On the restart, Groff took the lead from Steve Bren, Jeff Andretti, Frenchman Didier Thayers and Davy Jones. At half distance, Jones, the IMSA BMW GTP driver, one of the strongest runners all day, retired with mechanical failure. Also at this point, Mike Groff and Steve Bren had taken total control of the race and pulled away from the rest of the field. Traffic then became a major factor. At 3/4 distance, Bren used it to his full advantage to take the lead, which he was never to lose. Bren from nearby Newport Beach went on to take his first Bosch Super V victory in front of a cheering home crowd. Mike Groff finished second, Jeff Andretti third, and Didier Thayers a distant fourth. Reporting for SpeedWeek, this is Derek Daly.
Jim Russell Pro Mazda is also at Long Beach. A couple of interesting names in the lineup: Norm Breedlove, son of Craig, and Jim Busby Jr. On Saturday during qualifying, Antonio Cagnolo, who had spun, tries to get out of the way of 2 cars approaching. They both go for the same hole, and it's bad news for number 11, Barry Bibby. Sunday, race day, the Russell youngsters showed they had learned from the Super Viers. No kamikaze move here. Pole-sitter Tom Kendall leads the field through the first turn without incident. Kendall, teammate Jeff Krosnoff, and Jan Bikas were the class of the field today. Krosnoff passed Kendall to take the lead on lap 4 and was never headed. It was his first win ever in the series. Mark Walikachuk, winner at Phoenix, remains the points leader.
Across town, CRA's annual sprint car salute to Long Beach was a brutal one. Regular Gary Howard surged into the first lap lead, though everybody sensed an onslaught from Mike Sweeney, number 1. Shortly, the second-generation star had the lead. Watch for the Robbins Egg Blue number 43, young Kirk Sturgeon. He is driving his final race. One driver they didn't really plan on was Brad Knopfinger. Certainly no surprise, but this is his first strong outing of the year. On lap 13, Sturgeon's car crashed and flipped along the number 3 wall, collapsing the cage and fatally injuring the 24-year-old. Shortly, the crowd gasped again when Rip Williams crashed through the billboard above turn 2. He was not injured. Bubby Jones pushed Sweeney hard to get by, but this race was destined for the pocketbook of Knopfinger.
Steve Kinzer won the World of Outlaw feature at Granite City, Illinois, Saturday night. Dave Blaney won 2 All-Star Sprint races in Ohio, and the opener of the USAC Western States Midget Division went to Robbie Flock.
When we return, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid ride in Ohio.
And in the East, the Sizzler is a Wild West show. With us.
Oh, I don't like noise.
It's the librarian.
Let's book him in, fast.
Word is, Midas does things right. But watch out, I'm a penny pincher.
We only replace what's needed with quality parts.
It's a wisdom, Top Gun. Harvard it. That should keep things quiet.
Midas guarantees it.
Right across Canada and the States. Reads like a bestseller.
Midas wrote the book on mufflers.
The new ASA season began near Cincinnati, Ohio last Sunday. Some new paint for a couple of veterans and the return of a former front runner. That orange and white 28, like Cale Yarborough's Winston Cup paint, Alan Kowicki's old livery, now Larry Moore. The same that's been competitive on the NDRA dirt trail in the South. Used to race, among other things, USAC sprint cars and was feared on the high banks at ASA 10 years ago. The snow white car up front is more than just a different color for Bob Seneca. Remember, he made one of those celebrated switches to Ford. Silver trim, as in my sponsor has a product called Silver Bullet, is Dick Trickle. He kind of teased us with those colors down in Florida. No sponsor ID. And speaking of Florida, remember how strong Butch Miller was down there? Well, recall he also finished second to Trickle by just a few points last year. He and that other guy in red and white, pretty obvious that's Smart Martin, Arkansas's pride though, isn't it? Led this race from start to finish. But that white 52 from Michigan, Butch Miller, won out.
The Coors Tour, formerly NASCAR North, opened its season Sunday with the Spring Green 86 in Milton, Vermont.
The season's first accident occurred in the first qualifying heat. Kevin LePage bumps Barney McRae and John Paul Cabana. It's over the bank and out of here. Normand Gervais in number 05 became the first feature leader of the season, but he'll not finish in the top 5. This 9-car pileup sent a lot of cars scurrying to the pits for repairs, including Kevin LePage, who will return and finish second. Stub Fadden in number 16 took the lead from Roger LaPearl on lap 35, and Stub led the rest of the way. LePage was second, Jamie Aubie third, Beaver Dragon fourth, and Portland's Chuck Bound fifth in a V6.
Still in the Northeast, but open wheelers and the annual Spring Sizzler for modifieds, one of the most important in this type of racing. Part of Sizzler is now a Busch Dash with $5,000 to the winner. After this ragged start for pole setter Jeff Fuller, Charlie Jarzambek held off John Rosati for the crown. The Sizzler now a double-header, although it looked like nobody wanted to win the lower horsepower SK modified half. First, front-running John Anderson apparently misjudged the turbo on this restart. Wayne Dion led until Ted Christopher came a-knocking. Next, Christopher becomes the target as Bob Potter bounces off him. Another restart. Second place, Robert Gatta loses it and attracts the third-place machine. This gives third to Dale Holdridge, but wait a minute, it's too hot to handle, and he takes Jimmy Broderick with him. Mercifully, it ends before Bob Potter gets taken out. He's the winner. The Sizzlers seem mild compared to all that. Front runners were Jamie Tomeno and Greg Sachs, who demonstrate a 99 and 44 100% pure racing accident. Jarzambek is fast, but tire-conserving Brian Ross prevails when Charlie drops out near the end.
Despite the fact that Madeira Speedway is his home track, Billy Vukovic III went into Sunday's super modified feature with no feature wins there. Vuki started 7th with only 25 laps to get to the front. Dennis Meisner Jr. in number 47 built up a 3-second lead early before a stalled Lance Tatro brought out a caution. Something new this season in SMRA is a double-file restart. Vukovic lined up inside second row, and within a few laps, he caught Meisner, passed him, and won.
Next, IHRA blossoms in the Louisiana Spring.
And pro ralliers tiptoe through the tulips.
This is Bryce, and this is Tim. We're winners on Much Music.
Much Music is winners, coast to coast.
We're going to take you to Halifax and let you play that on stage with Triumph.
I'm going. Excellent.
Julie, you're going to be going to London, England.
Charlene, I want to congratulate you as a Much Music winner.
You know, chance to meet with the guy with the blonde hair because he's so cute,
Yay.
you know.
There's more great contests all the time on Much Music.
One of these scooters could be yours, eh?
You could be our next winner. Keep watching the nation's music station, Much Music.
Can your motor oil survive the punishment today's engines dish out? Circulating it twice as fast, working it twice as hard, breaking it down, and causing it to lose its viscosity. That's why you need an oil with the additive that does more to help prevent viscosity breakdown. Castrol XLR, the oil engineered for today's cars. Look for Castrol XLR at these and other leading retailers.
"24 hours a day, 7 days a week. TSN is the Sports Network."
Bayou Country, Louisiana hosted the second stop for IHRA in 1986. Their newest pro class provided the biggest finals drama. That slick-looking Trans Am is Greg Moss's Alcohol Funny Car. He's going to win this one, but the chute breaks. He sails through the sand trap and sloshes into the casual water at the end of the run, wet but unhurt and happy. Bob Glidden in the near lane squared off against Roy Hill in the Pro Stock final. Glidden, the winningest drag racer of all time, backed into a winning speed here at 161 as they both dirt tracked up the strip. Mark Oswald, winner of 2 IHRA events a year ago, was fast qualifier, and he also had to survive a trip into the kitty litter to earn the finals. Up against Ed McCullough, he capitalized. New track record speed, better than 257 miles an hour.
The man who designed the Roush Caprice, Bob Riley, has joined the Protofab operation and will work with their Trans Am car, a GTP machine, and will help some NASCAR teams. George Fulmer and Ludwig Heimrath Jr. will drive the Trans Am Series in Porsche 944 turbos. Elliott Forbes Robinson will return to the Trans Am Series in a Buick. Teammate Tommy Riggins will run selected races.
A survey of 2,400 households by an independent public relations group shows that 44% follow motorsports at least on a part-time basis, and 62% of those watched at least 4 races on TV last year.
Randy Mamola on a Yamaha won the Motorcycle Grand Prix in Malaysia Sunday. And Scott Parker passed Bubba Schobert with less than 2 laps to go for the win at the AMA's Camel Pro event in Sacramento, California.
This year's second Stadium Supercross indoors, the Pontiac Silverdome. The 250 portion, a 3-bike race. David Bailey, the first leader. Keith Bowen was third, but passed both number 5, rollicking Rick Johnson for second, and then Bailey for first. But David, who hadn't won since the outdoor season opener in the Rose Bowl in January, had the inside on this course. He took the lead back for good. Johnson 5 and Bowen 9 will trade second place 4 more times before Johnson finally gets it.
They came from 17 states, the District of Columbia, and Canada for the 17th annual Tulip 200 Pro Rally in Chillicothe, Ohio. Here's Mike Botula.
There are 4 classes of cars in the Pro Rally, ranging from those that are virtually unchanged from the ones in the dealer's showroom to cars that are allowed unlimited modifications. The race starts at noon and runs well into the night. Attrition takes its toll. 57 finish out of 79 starters. And the overall winner is John Buffum.
Oh, it was a bit dusty there toward the end, but everything came out very well.
Other class winners include Doug Shepard, who notches his 12th straight class win. There's a big money incentive for the drivers. $400,000 in contingency money has been earmarked for the 10-race SCCA Pro Rally Series. This is Mike Botula reporting.
This week's trivia question, Worldly. Who was the winner of the closest race in the 37 years of Formula One history? Bonus if you know the year and place of venue. A, Jackie Stewart, B, Jim Clark, C, Ayrton Senna, D, Peter Gethin, or E, Ronnie Peterson. I'll have the answer in a moment.
What you're about to see is a magnificent collection of German-engineered road sedans. Stop us when we get to one you can afford. The Mercedes-Benz 190E, the Audi 4000S, the BMW 325e, the Volkswagen Jetta. It's curious how many people stop us at this point. At a price of around $12,000, the Volkswagen Jetta truly is the affordable German-engineered road sedan.
Until you try Gillette's new Foamy Smooth for sensitive skin, enriched with skin lubricants, you're missing out on the smoothest foamy shave ever. Foamy Smooth lets your razor glide across your face, so you get a close shave with exceptional comfort. New Gillette Foamy Smooth for sensitive skin, the smoothest foamy ever.
Here's the answer to this week's trivia question. Stewart has the 3rd closest finish ever over Jochen Rindt, Italy, 1969, 0.08 of a second. Clark is not the answer, and Sunday's Senna win was just 0.14 of a second. But the closest of all time, Gethin, D, the 1971 Italian Grand Prix, 1/100th of a second over Ronnie Peterson, his only career win.
No race so close to Hollywood would be complete without one involving celebrities. So some old pros and TV and movie stars waged war on the streets of Long Beach last weekend. Celebrities included Perry King of TV's Riptide, Knight Rider David Hasselhoff, and Falcon Crest's Lorenzo Lamas. Former Indy 500 winner Parnelli Jones and Dan Gurney represented the pros. Here comes the thundering herd of Toyotas for the start. It's a heated duel between Hasselhoff in number 20 and Gurney in number 3. Now, David, take a lesson on how not to let a guy like Gurney get inside on a corner. Stand on those brakes. Well, David loses the celebrity top spot to King. Gurney and Jones finish 1-2.
Next week on SpeedWeek, a recap of the Winston Cup race at North Wilkesboro that we'll have live for you here at 1 p.m. Sunday, and the World of Outlaws from Eldora. I'm Larry Newber.
And I'm Bob Jenkins. We leave you this week with highlights from last weekend.